welcome to a new vlog and video of the Cruise Vibes, and today we are going to take a look at day number 6 on board of the Princess of SE Tours, and as always this video has been produced in cooperation with SE Tours. Today we are sailing from Schwedt-Oder to Eberswalde, and here on the map you can see our route today. And as you saw, there's only a red line today, and that means that today I was not cycling because I decided to stay on the ship, even though there was a cycling tour today. But today there is the highlight of the whole cruise for me, which is going through the Niederfino boat lift. Until we get there, we are sailing on the Havel-Oder Wasserstraße, translated to Havel-Oder Waterway. The part we are on right now is called Hohensaten-Friedrichsthaler Wasserstraße. It's like a canal that is going almost parallel with the Oder. There was a ship in front of us that was transporting scrap metal. That was extremely slow, but here you can see the wheelhouse is lifted up and the ship with the scrap is going to the side, and we were able to overtake it so that we are not delayed because the ship was extremely slow. But here you also just saw how the wheelhouse lifting and lowering mechanism is working. Quite interesting. And for this part here, all guests were still on board, so this was a calm and relaxed morning for everybody. We were arriving at Hohensaten in the very late morning, early lunchtime, and there the tour started for the guests who wanted to go with the bike today. I decided to stay on board to see the ship going through the Niederfino boat lift because this is the only possibility to see it. There's no chance to do a bike tour and to go through the boat lift on the same day, so you have to decide what is more important to you, and for me it was clearly to go through the boat lift with the ship. I will tell you a bit more about this later on. Before reaching Hohensaten, we have to sail on this small canal here. As I said, it's going mainly parallel to the Oder River. The Oder has low water levels in the summer season quite frequently, but here this canal is most of the time pretty safe to sail on, so it's a quite important canal. And here we have the lock of Hohensaten. We have to go through it to reach Hohensaten, where the cycling tour starts. Always impressive to see a ship going into a lock, to be honest. Even though I've seen it uncountable times, I'm still always impressed with the captains going in a lock with that much precision without touching the wall of the lock, even though there are just a few millimeters left. So that's always very, very impressive. So I love to watch this. That's why I went up to the sun deck. Here we are in the lock, and here you can also see that there are just a few centimeters of space, and still we didn't touch the wall even once. So that was very impressive. Here we are already leaving the lock again, reaching Hohensaten straight after it. And in Hohensaten, first the guest had to leave the ship, then the ship had to move on a few meters, and then they could put the other gangway, because the ship has one gangway for passengers and one gangway for bicycles. And here on this docking location they only could put one, so they put the gangway for the guests first, all guests left, and then they moved the ship a bit forward to take out the bicycles. And then the guests went on their bicycle tour of the day, but as I said, I decided to stay on board and enjoy the day of sailing with the Princess. We're now sailing on the so-called Oder-Haltung. Here we have a former paddle wheel steamer, and whilst we were sailing past it, it was also time for lunch. It is clearly stated that when you decide to stay on board, there will be just a small lunch, but no proper big lunch. So I was expecting a very small meal, but actually we received a 3-course menu with a very nice and tasty soup, a pretty big portion of schnitzel with fries and a dessert. So that was a full lunch indeed, actually, and that was very surprising in a positive way. There were a few guests on board who decided to not do a bicycle tour at all, so they just booked this as a regular cruise and stayed on board all the time when the ship was sailing. Also, this is possible, and as we just saw here, you also get some good food. And here we have the highlight of the day, the Niederfino boat lift. This is a very impressive building. We're now going up 36 meters. So just to compare, this is 11 meters higher than the highest lock of Germany. And that's why instead of a huge lock they built this ship lift here. It's pretty new, it was built from 2009 to 2022. And it's supposed to replace the old boat lift, which we can see on the left side every now and then. At the moment both of them are in use. The new one still has some issues, but today it was in use, so we were going into the new boat lift of Nida Fino. Total height of this building is 55 meters, so very impressive. We are now going up 36 meters to the upper level, and then we are continuing sailing. One of the most impressive buildings I've ever seen when it comes to traveling on a ship, and that's why I clearly decided that I want to stay on board and see this from on board. If you do the bicycle tour, you can see it from ashore. The bicycle tour is going right next to this boat lift, and this building is also partly accessible, so a lot of guests were cycling to this building and watch our ship going through it from outside, but for me that was less interesting than to actually be on board when the ship is going through this lift, so that's why I decided to not do the bicycle tour. As it's very important to know, you need to decide what you want to do. You can either stay on board and go through this boat lift with the ship, or you can do a bicycle tour, but it's not possible to do both. So you need to make the decision what is more important for you, traveling through this boat lift or having the bicycle tour. That's a very important decision you need to make on this day, and for me it was clear that I will stay on board, and it was a very good decision because we had an amazing captain on board who's also the owner of the ship, and he saw that I was taking a lot of videos and pictures, and he also knew that I was there on invitation of his e-tours. So he kindly offered me to put my GoPro on the top of the wheelhouse. So he placed my camera there, and now we are able to enjoy going through the boat lift in a time lapse from beginning to end. So a huge thank you to the captain for making this amazing shot possible that we can now enjoy. Here you can see the ship approaching the boat lift, going into it. Then we have a shortcut because we were waiting there for like 5 to 10 minutes until the lift was actually going up. So I just made a shortcut there. There was absolutely nothing happening. So you're not gonna miss out something, but otherwise you can now enjoy the full process of going through the boat lift. Here we are, we've reached the top. Now they are removing the safety lines, and now we can continue sailing on 36 meters above where we just went into this boat lift. Here on the left and on the right you can see a lot of fellow travelers who wanted to see their ship going out of this boat lift, so that would be the other possibility, to watch it from there. But I was very happy that I stayed on board, especially because of the captain who made this amazing time-lapse possible. So once again, thank you so much. After that, the landscape is not too spectacular, so here we are already approaching our docking location for the rest of the day in Eberswalde. Also, this docking location is not very spectacular, it's quite far away from the city center, so I stayed on board, enjoyed some coffee and cake, and then it was already time for once again a very nice dinner. As you can see, the soup was once again pretty hot, and also the main course was amazing, a nice fish dish. Here we have also a nice dessert, and after that I went out for a couple of minutes just to take a few pictures of the beautiful princess. And that's it for day number 6. I hope you enjoyed this video. In the next video we will be seeing the last 2 days on board, day 7 and day 8. Here you can see when this video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video then.